What's up everyone and welcome back to the World History Channel today. Let's get started. What was Elvis Presley really like? Fans share stories about meeting the music icon. To say Elvis Presley was a superstar is probably an understatement. After all, he was the king of rock and roll. Through the 1950s, 1960s, and up until his death in 1977, Elvis wowed audiences and accumulated throngs of fans. The musician, actor, and pop culture icon was a heartthrob the likes of whom many modern observers may not understand. Although his passing in 1977 was devastating for millions of people worldwide, his legacy lives on. Proof of Elvis's longevity can be found in the continued influence he's had on music, but it's his fans who keep the singer's memory alive. People who met Elvis don't shy away from talking about the experience. Online forums, newspaper articles, blogs, and other media are rife with stories about meeting the king. We gathered accounts of what it was like to meet Elvis Presley. From kisses to kindness to keeping cool. Here are some stories about meeting Elvis that make it clear why so many people did and continue to love him tender. He paid all the medical bills. He was truly a nice person. When my father was born, shortly after, he had health complications and almost died, resulting in an ER visit. Elvis was in the same hospital in California having a splinter removed. My grandma was a huge fan and of course ended up talking to him. When all was said and done, when they were checking out of the hospital, she was informed that he paid all of the medical bills for my father's complications. My family has never been well off, so you can imagine how big of a deal that was to my family. He was the kind of person I loved being around. Nathaniel Wigginson talked about what it was like to work in the United States Army alongside Elvis Presley in 2018. He recalled, "It made me feel great to be with him. Everybody knew who he was. He fit in so easy." Wigginson also remembered Elvis's parents, Vernon and Gladys, visiting, and how his mother always told us to take care of each other. She talked to all of us like we were her children. It was fantastic. After Gladys's death in August 1958, Elvis said he'd give anything he had to get her back, but he knew he couldn't do that. Wigginson had additional memories of his time with Elvis. He showed me all the telegrams he got from celebrities. He had 3 books filled this wide with them. When things got tough, you could be out at night, it's cold and raining and you're on guard duty, and he was out there too. If he could do it, that made me feel like, okay, I can do this. Wigginson said he wants everyone to know how good a person Elvis was. He was the kind of person I loved being around. He felt sorry for us and let us go in. Larry Silva told the Village's Daily Sun that he and one of his friends met Elvis Presley in Florida in 1955. Due to the fact that 2 of us tried to sneak in to hear both Hank Snow and Elvis, the Elvis concert is one that sticks in my mind very clearly. We were behind the pavilion, trying to figure how we were going to get in, when a limo pulled up and out steps Elvis. He asked what we were doing, so we told him. He said, "Follow me," and off we went. Our conversation was totally about being broke, and yet wanting to see the show. So I guess he felt sorry for us and let us go in with him. After giving me a kiss, my mother emerged. Marcia Connolly had multiple interactions with Elvis Presley during the 1950s. The first time was on May 30, 1955, during a performance in Daytona Beach's Peabody Auditorium. She told her stories to the Village's Daily Sun. He was kind of innocent at the time. He was very quiet. He was a nice guy. I can't say a thing bad about him. He was very mannerly, very much a Southern gentleman. It never escalated into anything. There was never a love affair. He took my girlfriend and I home after the show. He kissed me and then my mother came out. When Elvis returned to Daytona Beach the following year, Connolly saw him again, she recalled. Everybody was getting his autograph, and when I came up and he said, "Marcia, you should have seen the looks on the faces of the other girls when he left with me." I admired him greatly for keeping his cool. Fans shared their recollections of meeting Elvis Presley with the Village's Daily Sun newspaper in 2008. James Mott, who would later work for Elvis, recalled one time the musician had a conversation with a reporter who was especially impatient. Elvis told her he would be happy to answer all her questions momentarily when he finished talking with us. The moment he turned around to talk with us, the reporter, who was standing directly behind Elvis, began tapping him on the shoulder as rapidly as a machine gun and saying his name over and over again. Elvis, 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 almost as rapidly as the tapping. He kept turning around and telling her that he would be with her in a moment. But she didn't stop tapping his shoulder and calling his name. She was very rude and she never stopped. I really liked how he kept his cool. I stepped up a chair and walked down the middle of the table. Sharon Barron of Huntington Beach, California, told the Orange County Register in 2007 that the only thing that ever impressed my 2 daughters and son is the fact that Elvis kissed me. Barron might not have received that kiss if she hadn't been persistent in meeting Elvis. I went to see Elvis when he reopened at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Elvis came out in his famous white suit. All the women went wild. Most of us rushed down to the stage. I wanted to get to the stage, but a woman at the end of a table wouldn't let me pass her. I stepped up on her chair and walked down the middle of the table. Security started to get me down. Elvis told them, "No, let her be." He was talking to the other women at the other end of the stage. They were kissing his cheek and shaking his hand. He asked me, "Do you want to kiss me?" as he approached me at the stage's end. "No, but you may kiss me," I replied. Then he kissed me and told one of his staff to bring me one of his pictures. I got kissed by Elvis and his signed picture. When he died in 1977, I wore a black armband to my bridge group. When I told them Elvis had just died, we all cried. Our second kisses, when offering her story about meeting Elvis Presley to the Orange County Register in 2007, Marsha Jamgachian took the opportunity to talk about getting not 1, but 2 kisses from the king. Elvis truly enchanted me. I loved his music way back when and remember distinctly the first time the king was on TV. I was at my friend Shirley's parents' home and we watched and screamed as Elvis shook those hips, although he was made to be very calm, on the Ed Sullivan Show. Then, around 1969, I met him for the first time in person when I went to the International Hotel in Las Vegas with my husband, Haig, and our friends Jeanette and Harry. We, with some pull from a close friend, got front row seats, and when Elvis sang "Love Me Tender," he kissed all the women in the front row. I was among the honored. I believed that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. A year or so later, Jeanette and I again were able to see him in Vegas and got our second kiss. I was and still am so excited about that kiss. It's been such a fun story to tell. I ran up to the stage to wave to him and he returned the gesture. Cecilia told the Las Vegas Sun about a time she came close to Elvis Presley and came away with a prize. I was one of the lucky fans who got to see the king in person. In point of fact, I saw him 4 times. I was able to catch a scarf once in Tahoe. I ran up to the stage to wave to him and he returned the gesture and threw me the scarf. To this day, I have that scarf put away in a safe place. He carried me the whole time. Margie Hollis was 5 years old when her mother, Margaret Howard, took her to meet Elvis in Dallas, Texas, in 1970. Elvis was simply passing through town on a train and would only be in Dallas for about 20 minutes. But Howard and Hollis were among groups of screaming teenage girls waiting for Elvis at the train station. She remembered Elvis seeing her and crying out, "Hand her here. Give her this." He then said, "Hello. Give me a kiss," and took her to see the interior of the train. He didn't set me down. He carried me the whole time. In 2012, Hollis revealed to the Lubbock Avalanche Journal what she had told her mother about how good Elvis smelled. Time stop. He just seemed so nice. I kissed him and he kissed me. I did not wash my face for a long period of time. Elvis told me I was a very pretty girl. From Quora user Chris Sherwood. I met Elvis in Beverly Hills while applying at an employment agency. Someone said, "Elvis is next door." So a few of us went out to the sidewalk to peer in at him in an adjacent jewelry shop. Elvis saw we girls peering in at him from outside and came out to talk with us. He told me I was a very pretty girl and we exchanged comments. He gave me an autograph for myself and one for my young daughter. He was accompanied by his entourage of bodyguards and a couple of Mercedes cars. He was so gracious and willing to chat with us. This was in the very early 70s. I still have the autograph, which was in red ink that has faded over the years but is still visible.